So the first phase of the Bihar elections are done and dusted, 121 constituencies, and then this coming Tuesday on the 11th of November, the next phase will begin. That's 122 constituencies, 243 seats in Bihar. Is it a close contest? Is it a one-way show? Is it going to be NDA all the way? Nitish Kumar, it's a test of his anti-incumbency. He's been chief minister virtually uninterrupted for the last 20 years. Will the old give way to the new, or is the new yet to catch up? Is Tejashwi Yadav the challenger that he claims to be? Can he look beyond his traditional bases of Muslims and Yadavs? Joining us this week on Take 3 is a very special guest, Amitabh Tiwari. He's just had a long journey of Bihar, up and down, both in September and just recently. So welcome to Take 3, and as always,
Thank you.
Rahul Shivshankar, consulting editor with Network 18. तो बिहार में क्या है माहौल बताइए. What is the mood in Bihar?
बिहार में इस बार चुनाव बहुत ठंडा है.
ठंडा है. Okay.
Essentially what is happening is that the candidates are shying away from doing door-to-door campaign is what I saw. So in villages, there is a lack of posters. Even across the highways, etc., there is a lack of posters, smaller rallies, nukkad sabhas. And candidates are relying now more on social media. Facebook पे पोस्ट कर दिया, बूस्ट लगाए जा रहे हैं, लग रहा है कि भाई बहुत सारे लोग देख रहे हैं, उसी से कैंपेन हो गया.
पर लोग देख रहे हैं कि नहीं देख रहे हैं?
ये लोग देख रहे हैं, बट कितने लोग वहां के देख रहे हैं और कितने बाहर के, उस पर भी फर्क पड़ता है ना. उससे भी फर्क पड़ता है ना. बिहार के लोग देखने चाहिए, उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी के देखने चाहिए. करेक्ट. तो चुनाव ठंडा है, इन द सेंस माहौल ठंडा है चुनाव का.
ओके.
अब ये एक बिहार प्रीमियर लीग है, सो इट्स अ बिहार प्रीमियर लीग, यू कैन कॉल इट. दिस बिहार इलेक्शन
T20 match.
T20 match. Two teams, NDA, India, and a third team, a newbie, a startup team, you can say. Now, NDA's captain is JDU Nitish Kumar. Vice captain is BJP, despite equal number of seats, because BJP itself has said that we are fighting under the leadership of
Nitish.
And then there are smaller, weaker players, you can say, LJP, Hum, and RLM. On the Mahagathbandhan side, you have RJD as the captain, Tejashwi as the captain, Congress is the vice captain. And then you have again smaller players like VIP, left parties, and the IIP. Now what is happening is that the stronger players have taken on the weaker contests.
Stronger players have taken on the weaker contest.
Yes. So
okay.
what has RJD done? Now LJP, Hum, and RLM are contesting on 40 seats.
Okay.
RJD has taken 30 of them.
Achha.
If you recall, during ticket distribution, the LJP, Hum, and RLM were unhappy because they had said that BJP and JDU have pocketed the easier contest. So the BJP and JDU are fighting 50 of the 60 seats which Congress is contesting.
Okay.
The entire dasha and disha of this election is going to be defined in these 50 seats.
So whoever wins these 50,
whoever wins these 50, or whoever has an upper hand in these 50 contests or 50 matches, let's say, will win. In 2020, Congress had the weakest strike rate.
Yeah.
And JDU also incidentally had the weakest strike rate amongst NDA
parties,
and Congress amongst Mahagathbandhan. Now but JDU lost to RJD, JDU lost to CPIML, etc. But when it came to JDU versus Congress contest, JDU had an upper hand strike rate of 61%. So पूरा निचोड़ चुनाव का issues, मुद्दे, जाति, everything is defined or will be defined in these 50 contests. Can Congress win 25? Anything below 25 is largely going to pull down.
Last time they fought, I think 70 seats.
70.
Usme se they got 19.
19.
So you know, even if you add a couple of points more to that strike rate, if you have to win 25 out of 50, to strike rate to 50%.
30 the RJD has never. I mean, of these 60 seats, the Mahagathbandhan has never won 30. So there is a lot of debate in the Congress as to what strategy and bargaining the Congress party did for so many months, and there was a deadlock for 15 days, and still have got the weakest seats to fight on. I mean, they should have got at least 1 or 2 from RLM, 1 or 2 from Hum.
No, but Rahul, I mean, look, ultimately, I think it's going to be about the principal players. In one case, it'll be JDU, BJP. In the other case, frankly, it'll be about RJD. The straight contests between RJD versus JDU or RJD versus BJP, do you think the bulk of that will sort of decide which way
So
Bihar
for
goes?
both these sides to do well, if it's the RJD, if it has to do well to get closer to a strike rate of about 70%, where it's never really been, it would need to carry other voters, to be very honest. That's
Not
why
just the Muslims and Yadavs.
not just its core. It would have to look beyond. That's why it needs the smaller parties.
Okay.
So we can't write them off. They are in the contest through a proxy sort of, way. And for the BJP also, look, principally the BJP did not do well last time. It did well individually on the seats it contested, but the NDA didn't do well last time because the LJP was on the wrong side of the fence, so to speak, for them.
Yeah.
On its own, it was proving a point.
Yeah.
And who did that damage? That damaged the JDU. So vote transference has to happen. I, look at this election as the election that took place in 2017, if you remember, in Uttar Pradesh. There, some mighty alchemy took place, if you remember. Something unusual happened. Two parties at each other's throats came together, this, that, the other, and happened also in the next 2019 election. That was actually more exemplifying of what I am saying. There was no vote transfer. So the optics look great that all the backwards had come together to take on this fun. But it didn't quite happen because animosity is at that level. As Mr. Verma is pointing out,
Mr. Tiwari.
Mr. Tiwari is pointing out, had led to this sort of problem. So chemistry is very crucial. At the end of the day, caste is a massive factor. It is the bedrock on which the politics is built. Issues come on top of that.
No, but Rahul, tell me, for the last 25, 30 years that the JDU, BJP, alliance has been there, the BJP is an upper caste party and the JDU is the EBC party. So there the vote transfer seems to happen.
Yeah, so fundamentally, look, there was this whole big question about Nitish's own survivability within the alliance. What is going to happen after? And I'll tell you, this is another election where the BJP has actually at some level self-censored itself, self-contained itself. It has realized that it requires, it's a very pragmatic outfit,
Or was it forced to?
No, I don't think it was forced to. I think it realized, look, there is an element of compulsion
of
because
course,
you have somebody at the center that's propping your government. But you have to be pragmatic enough to understand that. You see, Rahul Gandhi, whether it was in Maharashtra, whether it's in Bihar, whether it was in other states, like Haryana specifically, came across as somebody who wasn't very accommodative of partners. The BJP this time has played its cards very cleverly. The moment the question became a problem, which is what's going to happen with Nitish post facto, they said the Prime Minister came in.
Yeah.
Amit Shah, in fact, was the first person to make that absolutely clear in an interview to Rahul Joshi on our channel. So I think fundamentally that absolute ambiguity is out of the picture. And you will have this sort of synergy. I'm not saying that in certain seats, look, on the other side, there are some. And because the Congress has, as Mr. Tiwari is saying, has been a little bit of a jouster in that camp. In the last phase, there were 7 friendly contests.
Yeah, correct.
They in fact announced more seats than they were contesting really. So look, no candidates than they were contesting. So as a Gathbandhan, there are problems on the other side.
But on this whole vote transfer thing, what Rahul was talking about, so if you look at the RJD, they're primarily a Muslim Yadav party, right? Their vote bank is the Muslim Yadav. Congress has tried a little bit of upper caste, little bit of Dalits, whatever adds on. And then you have the left party, CPI-ML, CPI, CPM. Again, they are appealing to the backward classes, right? At the bottom end of the pyramid, as it were. वहाँ पे भी vote transfer का issue है. मतलब it's not as simple as it seems.
See, what happens is that when the strongest player is playing, vote transfer is smooth. So when RJD is contesting on a seat, the core MY is likely to turn up in higher numbers to support the RJD candidate. When Congress and other parties are contesting, the same level of enthusiasm will be missing. It's equally true for the other way. Where LJP is contesting, now LJP cannot win. They have been given 28 seats. And they did not get the 5 seats they were trying trying for. So it cannot win on any seat on 5 to 6%. So it needs a vote transfer from BJP. It needs a vote transfer from JDU also. But that also doesn't happen at the same degree in contrast to where the BJP and the JDU are contesting. In 2020, where JDU candidates were contesting, only 55% of BJP supporters backed JDU. Whereas where BJP was contesting, 70% of JDU supporters backed BJP. So there was a leakage of 15%, largely towards LJP, which was also which had also fielded a lot
Candidates
of rebels
against,
and
against
upper
JDU
caste-
candidates.
Yeah,
No, but
upper
tell
caste
me this
candidates.
on this question of Nitish Kumar, which Rahul also said that ultimately BJP pragmatically said when it started to become a problem कि they were being ambivalent about it, क्या एक नाथ शिंदे कर देंगे नीतीश कुमार के साथ, you think they were forced to clarify that even after the election Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister? अगर नहीं बोलते तो क्या होता?
नहीं, मैं तो कह रहा हूँ कि अभी भी they have not clarified. See,
वो तो ऑन रिकॉर्ड बोले हैं अमित शाह ने, हमारे चैनल पे बोले हैं.
Actually, बोले तो वो महाराष्ट्र में भी थे on record.
हाँ, see what
Fadnavis ji
happens-
in fact said himself.
On
You
record.
remember?
See, why is this? So why? I think this is a tactical strategy, tactical stance. But the top two will not clearly, openly say in exact words that Nitish will be CM, घुमा फिरा के, and others will keep on saying that Nitish will be CM, no vacancy, etc. Why? At Vote Vibe, in our trackers, when we asked people and BJP supporters, do you want to see Nitish as CM? 1/3 said no. 25% said yes, he has done good work. And 25% said yes because he is a majburi candidate, BJP doesn't have a candidate. So you have 50% of BJP supporters saying that Nitish should be CM, but 1/3 saying Nitish should not be CM. Now, this strategy is to placate this 1/3 voters. And 1/3 is largely comprises of upper caste, Banya community supporters. Last time they had an outlet in LJP. This time they have an outlet in Jan Suraaj party. Jan Suraaj party has fielded 92 upper caste and Banya community candidates.
But tell me, तिवारी जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि 5-6% से no party can win a seat. तो वो तो पीके का भी हाल वही होगा ना, 5-6% में तो
नहीं
कहाँ
जीते,
सीट
तो हाँ
जीतेंगे?
जीत नहीं रहा है, लेकिन
But then
स्पॉइल तो करेगा ना.
But who will he damage?
करेक्ट. अभी सबसे पहले तो he will damage others and independents. Others and independents.
floating vote.
He is the CM face of voters who have been backing smaller parties and independents, but कोई चेहरा नहीं था उनके पास. उसके बाद, to answer your question, we have to see what is the vote base of who are the people who are supporting Jan Suraaj. So demographically, age-wise, it's young, but young male, not female.
Not female.
Female is moving away because of his policy on prohibition. So female are not that attracted. Males because of unemployment. Then caste, if you see, it's upper caste, then Muslims and Dalits. If you see socio-economic class, middle class, because he is talking about corruption and a vision for Bihar, and also section of poor because he is talking about health and education. अब LJP ने पिछली बार क्या किया था? LJP, we only remember the damage it had done to JDU. But LJP had damaged Mahagadbandhan in 32 seats and NDA in 40. So the net damage to NDA was 8 seats. Here also, in some seats, JSP is damaging Mahagadbandhan, in some seats, NDA. So on a net basis, the net impact will be lesser. On 83 seats, जहाँ पे विक्ट्री मार्जिन ही 5% का था पिछली बार, अगर उसको 5% आ जाता है तो किसी न किसी को तो डैमेज कर रहा है. And on those 83 seats, both had won 37-38. So दोनों को डैमेज कर
Those
रहा है.
close contests, yeah, those were
So-
razor thin, not in either side.
You know, I keep coming
My
back.
only difference with Amitabh ji here is that the youth voter was quite split down the middle between the two alliances also. So the youth male. And that fundamentally, I believe, is not so much the fluid vote that we are thinking it is. So I don't know, you know, the question is, if I were PK and if I thought that I could be the breakout party here, look, he started his campaign saying I'm winning.
Yeah.
He never said that I'm damaging. Right? In his own right, he claimed that he was going to be a winner. In fact, in a particular place, he sort of even written off any prospects of him supporting either of the two after in a post-poll scenario. So he sees himself as a challenger, as the alternative. Why didn't he contest then?
Yeah, correct.
You see, so fundamentally that goes a little against you, because if you are not out there putting your money where your mouth is, then even the youth will say that, okay, I don't want to waste my vote.
Correct.
Fundamentally. So my incentive to move away, this is just an elementary reading. You know, Amitabh
नहीं वो
is the
मैदान
more-
छोड़ के चले गए ना मतलब if you're saying that you're the general leading
Yeah,
the battle,
exactly.
you have to be in the battlefield.
और इतनी सारी बातें करी, उनका मैनिफेस्टो कहाँ है? अगर वो एक नए बिहार की बात कर रहे हैं,
Where is
महागठबंधन का मैनिफेस्टो आ गया, एनडीए का मैनिफेस्टो आ गया, जन स्वराज पार्टी का मैनिफेस्टो क्या है?
It's an interesting point. I didn't realize this.
कहाँ
He's
है
not released a manifesto.
we-
कहाँ है मैनिफेस्टो? कोई नहीं पूछता है.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
पूछना
that's-
चाहिए उनसे कि
yeah.
आपका मैनिफेस्टो कहाँ है?
In fact, a question has been asked of him where he says, "मेरा manifesto मैं हूँ." So basically, there was a social media पे काफी clips घूमते रहते हैं. So there was a
So
question. that was
Tejashwi's
posed.
manifesto is called Tejashwi Patra. So it's the same thing. उनका manifesto वही है. No, but the one factor that we've not talked about, we've talked about young people. You know, you're saying that they're split. He's saying that it'll hurt both sides. But I think the critical factor, as was the case in the last election, has to be the Mahila, right? Has to be the
You see,
woman.
the one
voter.
thing about the LJSP, whichever way you cut it, it is a caste-based party. You see, so Jan Suraaj is still looking for a constituency. It is
doesn't have a
hoping
base.
that its message will attract people. It doesn't go in with a base. I think you were making that point on my show
Yeah,
that
it
Jan
doesn't have a
Suraaj's
base.
one problem is neither is there a revolution behind it,
Yeah.
and neither is there, after all, at any level,
Caste.
a caste that is
Backing.
fluidly, substantively backing it. So there is that problem.
No, but this
It's a very bold experiment. let me tell you.
beyond caste या जो caste agnostic कहते हैं, last time it was 5% more across states, and I was quite surprised when it happened. Maybe it was a factor of COVID as well. I don't know. We will analyze it this time around. But this time around, the voter turnout is already high. In the first phase, 65%, which I believe is the highest that we've seen in many decades. Even there, I believe women have outvoted the men. तो ये तो एक नीतीश कुमार का solid constituency रहे हैं महिलाएं from 2005 onwards. Do you see anything changing in that, or वही के वही हैं?
Not much change, see, because this 10,000 rupees scheme is not a one-off scheme. It's not come out of the blue.
Yeah.
सबसे पहले लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इम्प्रूव हुआ तो महिलाएं बाहर निकलने लगी. Then there was a cycle distribution. Girls started going to schools and colleges. Then there was scholarships whoever finished the 10th and 12th. Then when they became educated, there were reservations in police force, etc. So 28% of women, or rather the Bihar police force has 28% women. It is 12 to 13% nationally. And again the reservation for panchayats, etc., local bodies. And this Jivika Didi schemes. So it is a scheme in a series of schemes. ठीक है. Plus this 10,000 rupees is a very big amount in the context of Bihar, which has a per capita income of 5.5. So it is 2 times. 65% of population does not even earn 10,000
That's the
rupees
number
per
I
month.
was giving you the other day.
Yeah. So 1.5 crore women have been given, which means 40% of women voters have received. 1.5 crore women means in every family there are 3 voters. 5 people but 3 voters. 4.5 crore voters have got, sort of, or have been impacted. So that is almost 60% of the vote base of Bihar. So context बहुत high है. And Nitish Kumar, one thing you have to give, that he did not fall for a monthly cash dole. Despite the opposition promising 30,000 rupees or 2,500 per month. Because if Maharashtra is struggling, MP is struggling, Delhi is struggling, बिहार कैसे दे सकता है वो? तो नीतीश कुमार, आप इस मामले में उनके विजन को आपको सैल्यूट करना पड़ेगा. He realizes that financially we are not that strong. ठीक है, election compulsion है, but इसको empowerment से भी आपको
But लेकिन ये
देखने की
बताइए,
जरूरत
so the promise is not just the 10,000. 10,000 is the first tranche, and then the promise is कि they'll take it up to 2 lakhs.
है. But that is a loan.
That's a no.
If you have a business proposal, so again in our tracker we ask people what will you do with this, or what
Money.
have you done rather, because it was done post. 58% said we have started some kind of a small or a micro enterprise. 58%, because many people also have this hope that they will get this 2 lakh rupees,
Achha.
which will be a loan.
You know,
is
India
fine.
is a very entrepreneurial society.
And Bihar, I mean, if you see women,
Yeah.
I mean, अंडे की दुकान छोटी चाय की दुकान, मुर्गी पालन, मखाना, बकरियां खरीद के, खस्सी खरीद के, तो it's, I mean, it has really empowered women in a society where a large section of males are working out of the state. तो महिलाएं ही घर चला रही हैं वहां पे.
That's the point I was making, that the remittance economy is so strong that it's the woman who's actually helming the households in the villages. So when you empower them further, they really get a sense of, privilege at one level in the community. And that is fundamentally very, very, very feeds into the aspirational sort of, mindset there.
No, but this whole migrant labor and remittance economy that you talked about, this whole migration in search of work, in search of livelihood for young men in Bihar, this has been a constant for the last 25, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. Why is that anger not translating on the ground? I mean, after all, you've had one incumbent for the last 20 years.
Let me flip that question. We all have seen Kerala for years altogether. Suicide rates had been high out of despondency, basically linked to no prospects. You see Bengal, same problem, industry kaput really. Yet those people go out in droves.
Correct.
Right? There's a whole diaspora connect with the Middle East. A large number of Bengalis work in the western part of this country. We know this. But the government doesn't seem to be hit. There isn't that kind of political churn that takes place. The Congress doesn't do any better than the left when it's in power in Kerala. In Bengal, we've had someone in power from 2011. So that's now almost going to be,
years,
2 decades we're closing in on in about 3-4 years. So fundamentally, you have to ask your question, what is it really? And I don't have that answer, but to be honest. Why doesn't it create anger is something... Manu Joseph has just written a book. A fabulous title. I was leafing through it. So why don't they come in? Why don't the poor come in? Basically, murder us. This is the title of this book. And it's a very interesting sort of thesis on it. Why is it that the pikes are not out for the entitled classes in this country? So there's that sociological dimension to this.
Especially when the challenger, and this is the second election where he's done this, and I remember...
But the only thing I can say, in Bihar, there has been societal revolution through the ballot. You've had the undercaste coming up. You see,
of course, that's part of the social justice.
In the South, in the South, specifically in Tamil Nadu, you had it through diktat. Right? Here, pre-independence, here there's been a different sort of churn, and it has been led by a very democratic process. So maybe for now, people are satisfied in seeing themselves. I don't want to speak for the people, but I'm just thinking, I'm trying to answer that question. Maybe there is upward mobility of a different kind that we don't appreciate because we take things for granted.
Because young people are saying कि हमें बिहार छोड़ के जाना पड़ रहा है because नौकरियां तो हैं ही नहीं बिहार में, तो we have to go out. And if this has been an issue for at least the last 3 or 4 election cycles, and certainly in 2020 it was an issue, in 2025 it's an issue, and the main challenger युवा नेता हैं, वो कह रहे कि मतलब 10 लाख नौकरियां दे दूंगा या 2 करोड़ नौकरियां दे दूंगा. Why is that not the central issue of this election? Or is it that they don't trust him to deliver those jobs?
I think there are 2-3 things. Each of us has many identities. So unemployment is an issue across states and was topmost issue even in Lok Sabha election. Unemployment will have an impact on elections only when it becomes the number one issue of the unemployed people in the country. We are assuming that unemployment is the number one concern of the people. When we go out and vote, what is drawing us to the booth? And which identity are we carrying? Hindu, Muslim, upper caste, backward, Dalit, youth, middle class, poor, trader, jobless, having a job. There are many identities each one of us has. So when youth are going to vote, they are not only carrying the youth identity. Some are voting on religion, on caste, some like leaders, some like international issues. I mean, people are well read there. Correct. So that's the problem.
No, but is it a Tejashwi issue that he's not able to convince the youth ki I am the one who will
see in this election? If topmost issue is unemployment, I mean 1.5-2 months, it's largely about SIR and vote chori. So Tejashwi's campaign has become subservient to Rahul Gandhi's campaign or agenda of SIR and vote chori.
And I asked this in our broadcast earlier this week as well. Ki, for all through August and September, you made this into such a big issue, and maybe they were getting, crowd response. I don't know. There was anecdotal reportage that, they were getting a lot of crowds then. The moment the dates got announced by the Election Commission, which was in early October, you're not talking about this issue at all? Like this issue just disappeared?
Well, look, Zach, fundamentally, I feel, and this is again hypothetical, I don't want to suggest that everything that happened in Bihar, the social churn, etc., happened just because of the ballot. There was strife. Let's be honest. I remember as a younger journalist, in the late 90s, there were large number of caste violence that used to take place. Under the Congress rule, it was exemplified. I still remember in South Bihar, which is now in Jharkhand, there were some terrible slaughters that took place of the real backward classes there, the EBCs, etc. But I think the fundamental point is that Bihar is not ready right now when you're cast in poverty to the level that you are, right, you are not going to be looking over the parapet too much. You're only concerned about one thing. What is my vote going to get me? Let me put it differently. What is it going to buy me? Is it going to buy me caste patronage? Is it going to be buying me welfare packages? Because you are on a subsistence. The last economic survey that was conducted, which was sort of cast aside, so to speak, showed that 65% of people in Bihar were earning less than 6,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So you're looking primarily at the My Baap Sarkar. Through a patronage sort of, and you have to trust the person to deliver. If you see him as somebody who is only the chieftain of 2 or 3 castes,
clans,
you're going to say, what I think I'm going to be out of it, because the pecking order will determine.
It will not generate confidence among the other caste groups.
So final word ये बताइए कि कौन जीत रहा है? That's what everybody wants to know. कौन जीत रहा है?
देखिए, अब जीत रहा है वो तो 14 को पता चल ही जाएगा, बिकॉज वी आर कंडक्टिंग एग्जिट पोल्स, तो हमारे ऊपर साइलेंस पीरियड भी लागू हो जाता है.
अरे हिंट तो दो.
नहीं, हिंट तो
बता दीजिए. इज कांग्रेस बीइंग एबल टू ट्रांसफर इट्स वोट? उसमें गठबंधन में हो रहा है.
हिंट तो मैंने आपको पहले ही दे दिया कि 50 सीटें कांग्रेस पार्टी लड़ रही है जेडीयू और बीजेपी के खिलाफ. क्या वो 25 जीत रही है? क्या वो जीत सकती है? अगर नहीं तो महागठबंधन के लिए गेम ओवर है. देखिए, प्राइमेसी ऑफ कास्ट है. एक और डेटा आपको बताता हूँ, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. जस्ट वन लाइन. In Bihar, there are 105 seats on which the same caste is winning for the last 3 elections, irrespective of party.
Wow.
There are 113 seats on which the same caste has won 2 out of last 3 elections. So on 218 out of 243 seats, एक ही जाति का वर्चस्व है, irrespective of parties. अब आ जाते हैं 105 पे, जहां पे एक ही जाति का वर्चस्व है. 3 out of 3. आई एम सेइंग 3 out of 3 because I consider elections after delimitation, after 2008. BJP has put up 81 candidates of the same caste or group in 105 of these seats. 81. Mahagadbandhan has put up 58. So the BJP is banking on the continuation of this caste patronage trend, whereas the Mahagadbandhan is banking on the fact that this trend will break someday, or maybe they are not even aware of this
fact. ठीक है, चलिए, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Amitabh Tiwari, for joining us as a special guest host in this weekend edition of Take 3. So the final phase, the second phase, is going to be on Tuesday. We'll have our exit poll at 6 p.m. On Tuesday, and then on Friday, 14th of November, is when we will get the answer to the question, ki who will rule Bihar for the next 5 years. Thank you.
You were going to say the answer to the question whether our exit poll will move markets.
No. Thank you for tuning in to Take 3. We'll catch you again next week.